Good morning. My name is John Montoya, and I'm going to endeavor to create the image in your heads that Satan was a heroic figure in John Milton's Paradise Lost. The impetus for this lesson is looking at informational documents from the Common Core State Standards, reading informational texts 1112.1 through 1112.3. We're going to start by taking a look at transcript from an interview with a gentleman named Mitch Horowitz. He was on NPR taking a look at Jay-Z. Jay-Z had been wearing a shirt that says, "Do what thou wilt." Now, this saying is an occult saying made famous by Aleister Crowley. As part of this presentation, we're going to look at the literary history. We are going to look at the political and religious social history as well. After that, I will get into what Satan's heroic attributes were according to Paradise Lost.
There were some texts that were written before Paradise Lost which talk about kings and monarchs and divine right, that they can rule over man, that really come into play in my mind as to why Satan is considered the hero. Milton also wrote a text about the tenure of kings, which questions the king's ability and authority to really say that God, or the king, as God's appointee, gets to reign over all men. In 1598, in the True Law of Free Monarchies, King James I wrote, "The state of monarchy is the supremest thing upon earth, for kings are not only God's lieutenants upon earth, and sit upon God's throne, but even by God himself are called gods." He's using the Bible as a reference for this. He is citing his strong textual evidence as the Bible. And when he produced in 1611 the King James Version of the Bible, he made sure that it reflected what he was saying. That's some pretty awesome power for a man. Now imagine that we are in society at the time, and we're a writer like John Milton or Ben Jonson, or we're a writer like Shakespeare. A lot of these writers wrote things that would be popular. They were the writers of the time, kind of like the MCs of today. They wrote things because they knew their audience. Now, do you remember the video we looked at with Professor Kohlbrenner, the university video, where he stated that he believes that John Milton's Paradise Lost was really the first truly American voice, in that it was about revolution against the crown. King James VI was King of Scotland. He united the crown between Scotland and England. He became King James I in England. King Charles in 1625 became king. People are thinking, these kings cannot possibly be gods. We should have the right to rule ourselves.
Given that the common man was not really buying it, that the kings had divine right and they were appointed by God and were seen as gods by themselves, there was a revolution. A revolution happened. They captured King Charles, they put him on trial for treason, and they executed him. Shortly thereafter, John Milton, he published The Tenure of Kings, which is said to have justified the regicide. So with that in mind, it set the stage some 20 years later, where Milton pens Paradise Lost, and that's the justification for Satan becoming the hero in that piece, because he is a revolutionary, much like the revolutionaries that were going against the throne of England. So I will lay out the 3 points why Satan is considered a hero.
If we look at Satan as a revolutionary, why did, and we've studied this in civics, why did the Americans want independence from British? Why did they want it? There was a central idea, it was taxes. We looked at the Declaration of Independence. All men are created equal. That idea is in Paradise Lost when Satan feels equal to God. The crown. Again, if we can look at the crown as God and American revolutionary spirit as Satan, then this becomes heroic. Here's some examples from Paradise Lost where Satan is showing that he has courage. He risked paradise to wage war against the Almighty. We'll look at lines 27 through 43. "Say first, for heaven hides nothing from thy view, nor the deep tract of hell. Say first what cause moved our grandparents in that happy state, favored of heaven so highly, to fall off from the Creator and transgress his will. For one restraint, lords of the world besides, who first seduced them, that foul revolt, the infernal serpent, he it was whose guile, stirred up with envy and revenge, deceived the mother of mankind, what time his pride had cast him out from heaven, with all his hosts of rebel angels, by whose aid aspiring to set himself in glory above his peers. So he sees himself as equal to God. He conspires with these angels, and he wars with God. According to John Milton, he was skilled as a warrior. Line 45 to 53. Hurled headlong, flaming from the ethereal sky, with hideous ruin and combustion down to bottomless perdition, there to dwell in adamant chains and penal fire. Who durst defy the omnipotent to arms? Who was qualified to do that? Satan, according to John Milton's poems. Satan was the man. He was destined. He was born to do this. He sacrificed himself. And let's take a look at lines 69 to 75 to see what Milton was talking about. With ever-burning sulfur unconsumed. So he's with ever-burning sulfur and he's unconsumed. So he's on fire. He's on fire, but he does not consume. His flesh is not consumed. His spirit, his ideas are not consumed. Satan is on fire forever. Line 70, such place eternal justice had prepared for those rebellious, here their prison ordained in utter darkness, and their portion set as far removed from God in light of heaven, and from the center thrice to the utmost pole. Oh, how unlike the place from whence they fell. So when we look at the literary context, when John Milton wrote Paradise Lost, and before that on the Tenure of Kings, another one of his writings, and we look at what King James wrote on the divine right of kings, we can kind of see that there's this battle of philosophies going on. In conclusion, I believe as Professor Kohlbrenner believes, I believe that Satan in Paradise Lost embodies the revolution that became the American Revolution, and that it was the first American voice, because as Satan battled God and the throne and God's monarchy, we in the United States and our founding fathers battled the crown and the monarchy of England to exert ourselves. And our Declaration of Independence makes it clear that the founding fathers believed that we were all created equal. So in that context, Satan clearly becomes the hero in Paradise Lost.